Hey everyone, it's Ross. Welcome to Season 2, Adventures in the Void Spacecast. This season we're talking about independent and folk science fiction tabletop role-playing games. The following is an actual play of the original Starfaring role-playing game, Classic Traveler, by Mark Miller and Games Designer Workshop. So get your vac suit on, your sidearm ready, and prepare to exit jump space. We've got money to make and worlds to explore, and we hope you'll join us on these adventures. Out here on the Imperial Fringe, it's just us veterans of the Fifth Frontier War keeping the space lanes moving. Free traders like us, still willing to evade the pirates, the terrorists, the zealots, the criminals. They prey on these war-torn ruins of 100 worlds. They call us travelers. We aren't liked, but we're needed. We use our skills we learned in the service to operate starships and earn a buck. We ain't looking for trouble, but it always finds us. When it does, it'll find us ready. I'm going to roll a D5. I almost rolled a D6, but that would not be very fair to Tiffany. So here we go. I got a 2. So in brief, for Tiffany's sake, since I suppose since Rylanor, right? That's kind of where you left off, was back in Rylanor with the Space Vikings,
Raleigh.
Right? Or Raleigh, sorry,
No,
Raleigh.
Yeah, Raleigh. I was
Pretty
like, what?
remarkable. We're like,
Are you throwing another temporal anomaly at us? Ross?
Yeah, so since Raleigh, in brief, kind of what has went down, and where are you now? Bellamy.
Oh. Dang, I just did it. But, what happened? Well... Okay, we dealt with security, and we took the... gosh, all the way since then. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
We dealt with the Space Vikings. She was there for that, right?
yes.
Okay. And then, after that, we...
In this case, Thomas, that doesn't mean they killed them all, but it usually does. Go ahead.
No,
Good to know.
We
didn't
dealt
have
with
to kill that many, actually.
We
On the
dealt with
contrary, we saved lives,
You
I
really
bet.
did. Well, you did, because yours was the mythology, weaponized mythology.
That was great.
It's
BDHs.
religion, baby.
But anyway, so then we went to Debar. Was she there for that?
No, I think wasn't it Raleigh? Was the one with the Space Vikings was...
Yeah, no,
Right.
something after that. So
Our next destination was Debar, but that's where Tiffany.
okay, so we went to
Yeah.
Debar. There was really nothing doing on Debar. And
You
And
considered aerially hunting... Aerial?
yeah, aerial hunting.
Aerial
of
hunting, yeah.
2-ton bears with our 20 Mike
I support that.
side cannon, but Ross indicated it would not really be as viable as I'd hoped, as an easier, just something to
We don't
make.
have much left to sell.
Well, that's in the past.
Okay.
We never want to go there again, or anywhere spinward of there again. But then we made our way to Free Startown Liberty, and then we had a nice evening, a nice peaceful evening of gambling, wherein Magnus lost 4,000 credits, and that's the main memorable thing about the evening. We also
I
happened
think
to...
we're neglecting a pirate encounter on our way into Flammarion. It was kind of the highlight of our last several weeks of adventuring, I'd say.
If you say so.
Bellamy just hasn't recovered emotionally.
I really haven't. The $4 grand was a real, especially since we're kind of up against it. And no, you're right. Of course, we got attacked by pirates, and scouts came in to. Am I remembering that incident? Scouts came in to try
Yeah.
to do
We
something
called in a
about
scout
it,
ship to give us an escort, and then pirates showed up.
which
And
is
then we had to rescue them, and we did it by lying, by pretending that we
Yeah.
were the whole.
well, Books had a great
Imperial
idea.
fleet.
It wasn't just us lying. Well, Books basically was the one who was like, "Let's try to help them," and we were all like ready to just leave, and just run, and so for whatever reason, we all changed our minds and went and did our best by faking a signal, and buying them time. I guess they believed us and then left the scout ship alone after disabling it and wounding some of the crew, I think. So we attended to them and waited till the actual Navy showed up, and then that was on our way into Startown Liberty, right? Yeah, in Flammarion, but and then we get in there. We're all ready to have a good time. We go gambling. It goes terribly, and then was it? I forget your what is it? Dang it! Is it Lawrence? What's your character's name? Rogue Nation.
Oh, Lamar Ocean or
Lamar.
Doc Ocean.
Right, Doc Ocean. Was it you who was seeking business opportunities?
Yes, I'm the one
Yeah.
that attracted the Vargers' attention at the casino. Yeah.
So that was all, again, great initiative. Terrible choice of patron and timing, because this is the same pack of Vargur that are the Union of Equals or whatever they're called, some terrorist
The
group.
terrorists. Yeah.
That
I don't know, just the guys from, what is it, Walston?
Yes, same guys.
Okay.
Same organization, and they recognized, like we were all ready to go and listen to their business opportunity, and then they laid eyes on us and recognized us as like the heroes of Walston / their thorns in their side, and they just opened fire on us in the middle of the casino, and then we had a huge firefight in which Marcello and
Lamar.
Both got horribly wounded. Not quite to death, but it was pretty close. And we ended up taking care of them. Not quite the same way as the Space Vikings, although my cutlass was involved again. I did behead one of them. And then we put the remains and the survivors into the low berths, and claimed them as agricultural goods. I think that's what the customs guy said to call them after we talked to him for a while and admitted like we
Cattle.
were claimed to be basically bounty hunters / representatives of Walston, like bringing in these terrorists / criminals, and slipped him 500 credits, and he sent us on our way. And that's pretty much up to date, except until we came into Asteltine just now and have been accosted perhaps by some, I think a 400 ton is what Ross said. I can't remember the tonnage of it. But we're now being hailed and asked to stop and have a conversation on board our ship.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw in some big, broader kind of concepts, some highlights here, I think. One is that as it stands, you are about to, I believe, leave Asteltine for the first time. If you don't use your own personal money to put it together, which you can, skipping a payment. Unless you use your personal money, but you'll be...
We don't know. We don't...
Either way, yes, we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
but
let's keep our hopes up here. We could sell
you
enough.
can
We
keep
could
your
make
hopes
enough
up,
from
but
this sale. Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that things are tight.
Yeah.
And that possibility of actually missing a payment or not being able to meet it it's a real possibility right now. So that's one highlight I want to throw out. Yeah, you had a run-in with Vargar terrorists, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but they're in your hold right now. So that's
they're in the low berth.
They're
They're
in the
not
low.
in the hold. They're in the low berth.
Yeah, they're frozen. And then you got a shipment. So you met with some various patrons. That also seems really important. So in Startown Liberty, there were kind of two major chances to make some money aside from just moving goods. The movement of goods has been pretty sour, both because of the low population worlds and then some bad luck on higher population worlds so far. And and then there, you could try to speculate, and a couple of one of those didn't turn out so good, and so on and so forth. So anyways, there's these kind of two opportunities. One of them is that you all return to the director of the Imperial Scout Service.
I entirely forgot about the Scout. Sorry.
No, it's okay. In District 268. Now, to back up a little bit on the way in, I think he undersold what Books pitched, because basically they were not involved. There was a scout ship and a way overpowered kind of retrofitted ship, 400 tons or whatever, and you guys don't have guns. Like, you're trying to go somewhere where supposedly you're going to be able to get a gun bolted on, right? But like, you don't have that yet, so you don't even have one gun, and everybody's like, we gotta run. And then Books is like, yeah, but what if we don't? Like, in the typical Books fashion. And everybody's like, oh, Books, classic Books. But then, like, basically they create a plan to create this, like, static, like this attenuation in space to seem as if there are ships coming. Because eventually ships would respond, because, Flammarion is a Imperial Naval Base headquarters. And they pull it off. And they make it seem like ships are inbound. And the pirate departs and leaves the scout ship. And then they come on board the scout ship and they repair it and bring the sensors back online so that they're prepared for any other threats long enough for the Navy, for the cavalry to arrive. And so they ride into Startown Liberty like a bunch of heroes. So when they go back to your patron with the Imperial Scout Service, his name is... What's his name? Anders Kasari. Anders Kasari. He's got bad news. And it's the kind of bad news that you've been hearing a lot. Which is that the power of these patrons and their money is slipping from them. So Anders Kasari, if you recall, months ago told you all, hey, you work for me, I will keep getting you paid. If you do a contract for the Scout Service, bring it back to me, I'll get you money, and I'll also get you other opportunities. And then he basically is a mess. And you find that all of his funding is stripped, and for some reason the Imperium seems to be divesting from District 268 and pulling their resources out. And so he decides to, hey, I can't give you a contract on paper, but I'll make you a deal under the table. And if you keep providing me intelligence, I will find a way to compensate you. And the first major intelligence product that he wants from you is to determine the relationship between the Kafirkanak Vargar Shipping Company and the Society of Equals, the terrorist organization, to see if there's a connection. So, you all took a shipment of goods from Kafirkanak, from Vargar interests, and you're hoping to deliver those goods to Vargar interests on Asteltine. So that's one thing that's going on. And the other one is, dang it, your
Lawyer, Squalia, that mission.
yeah,
we got like 4 missions stacked up right now.
her name.
Isabella's
Thank you.
friend. Yeah.
So Isabella, has this contact. Well, it turns out the contact is the same lawyer who worked out the deal that betrayed Kafurkanok with Books and Chapman. So it was their lawyer. So he says he worked, and he's an attorney for McClellan Industries, and he says, I know a lot of what's happening to you if you work and you have that contact in Squalia that like they want you to go and try to get dirt on McClellan, and he wanted you to double cross that contact on Squalia. And everybody agreed in your absence. And you're now like double McClellan double agents, and you're gonna, the idea is to go to Squalia and say that you're gonna take this job from Vampire Landleth, but then actually end up framing him for everything that's going wrong. And
well, the guy, he had the perfect angle.
He offered you money.
He reminded us that Landleth never paid us.
So wait, if we go back to Landleth and he pays up, we're gonna double cross the McClellan guy again.
Someone had mentioned that. Someone was like, "We should get that money also."
Well, we're definitely going to get all the money. Yeah. We get all the money for sure, but we're not. I don't want to double cross McClellan if we can avoid it. That seems like bad business. Especially if the government, if the Imperium's withdrawing investment from this area, we know McClellan is invested in this area. They're building new things here.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway. So we've got the Scout Service spy job with Kafurkanak. We've got the McClellan spy job with Landleth, and we got whatever job Landleth wants to give us, which is going to be to gather dirt on a McClellan subsidiary that's operating illegally using some sort of dirty tactics that McClellan actually wants them exposed. So we're supposed to. So we can collect from Landleth in good conscience, in my opinion. I mean, because McClellan said, "Go ahead and do that too. We want you to do his job, but we also want you to." We're supposed to screw him over in some way or other. Does anybody remember the? Oh, that's right. We're not. Oh no, we're not. Are we supposed to not complete the job? He wants us to just leave with the information and come straight back to him. Was that the idea?
Instead of bringing it to Vampire Landleth, you're going to get to the bottom of it, and you're going to go to McClellan instead. And you're going to, and they've basically told you they're going to frame him, because he is in fact a criminal in the Odd Park Federation.
Right.
Okay, so you got these kind of two main threads. I wanted to present that. You've got gathering intel for the IISS under the table, and then you've got Vampire Landleth. Okay. So here you are, you're coming into Asteltine, and you're going to try to sell these old weapons and get an in with the Vargur. And if you remember the last time you were in Asteltine, it was heavily guarded and very indie and not friendly to the Imperium, right? And there were vessels that met you and escorted you in. Well, I can't remember who calculated the jump. I think it was our previous crew member.
Yeah, Tim.
Major Coleman?
Yeah, it was Major Coleman. That's right. Yeah, he calculated the jump. It wasn't a bad jump calculation, but not as good as Shipley. Because you're about a...
But he's not on the ship anymore. We must have thrown him out the airlock.
Right. It's ruthless. A cold nap. Okay, so day and a half out. You come out about 30, close to 40 million kilometers out from the planet, or from the asteroid. And you travel for about a day, no problem, and then this extremely heavily armed 400-ton vessel comes within radar range and announces itself, bristling with weapons, missile launchers, and simply says, "We'd like to talk." Does it make any demands?
Didn't the pirates say they would meet us at Asseltine? The Viking pirates, or is this me being too optimistic?
Was that
Okay, so that's a third thread, actually. So you're
Because
supposed to
we
go
still have to go to the
Bowman, yeah.
pirates and get these guns he
That's
promised
right.
us.
Well,
Yeah,
we
Weekend
haven't
jobs we
got
haven't been paid for.
Bowman's on the way to Squalia anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, a good question though. Is there any identification of like what this ship is just from outward appearances? I assume it's not Imperium, but does it look like a pirate ship, a Viking ship, a Zidani ship?
Yeah, with that, let's hop right in and take a look. So here you are. You're all on the bridge, and I believe all these people are gone. I think you've got a few mid passengers. I can't remember.
I don't.
Oh no, you have some low. I think is
We
what
have
it
some
was.
low. I don't know if we had any mids.
Well, I'll look back later. I've got it written down. I know you said that you took all the available cargo and passengers, so I'll look later. But so we won't worry about the passengers. I think most of them are low anyway. So here you are. You've got Lothak. You've got Isabella, Velez, and I suppose you have a new crew member that we should introduce. Thomas, can you tell us about your character? I apologize, I know you did last time. And then we'll also introduce Shipley.
Yeah, so Lamar Ocean, a 30-year-old world vet from Rylanor. He served his first 4 years in the Merchant Marines as a 4th officer. He didn't get promoted after that because he ended up accidentally killing his deck officer when he was trying to revive him. And but he pulled up himself by the bootstraps and went for another 4 years and became a doctor. He's a medic 3, admin 1, electronics 1, vac suit 2. Let's see. He's a doctor. He's a surgeon, apparently, and he's just trying to make his way back home the opposite of the way that we're going. He's trying to make it back to Rylanor one day. But yeah, he's here to help, and he's here to help heal the wounded as they come.
Yeah, pretty huge deal. So we looked at it, and he has the ability, essentially. You know how if a traveler gets severely wounded, they're basically out of the game? He has the ability to keep them in the game. That's basically what it comes down to.
Nice. The deck officer's sacrifice was not in vain.
So feel free to get shot as much as you like. You can afford it now.
Let me find... I'm glad that we were talking about this because I need to bring up your token. Okay, tell us about Shipley.
Okay, so Shipley is, I think, pretty young. I want to say he stopped at like 25 or something, but to be honest, it was a while ago and I don't remember. Had a not particularly illustrious military career. Fought in the Battle of... Oh, hang on. Rylanor, yep. Yeah. Tried and failed to conduct a military intelligence mission to advance the line with a group of compatriots. That didn't end well for them, but they survived, so it ended pretty well as far as Shipley is concerned. Since then, the sector hadn't been too kind to the vets of that war, so the group of them had more or less been pushed farther and farther out of, I guess, so-called civilized imperial space, picking up odd jobs, and Shipley's just kind of resigned, or I guess adapted to the position of being a wandering traveler at this point. I think kind of had to do a bunch of different things as we go on because the crew kind of, steps in to do the things that need doing, but for the most part, Shipley's the navigator.
Yeah. Nice. I'm just dropping in a token here. Doc Ocean. Thomas. Vision on. Bam. just something. And Thomas, you know, I apologize if you already sent me something. Just let me know and I'll let's see. Hold on, sorry. We didn't have this last time. I got kind of confused during combat, so I wanted to get something on the available there. Okay, so here you are, and this ship has requested to come abeam, and it's gonna extend something, and then some simple umbilical of some sort, and come aboard and chat with you. That's what they've asked for. They've called themselves something like the Sword of Truth, I think, or something grandiose like that. And you all have agreed. So that's what's happening, is they're basically like, in a kind of relative to you, they're matching V, and they're starting to close distance laterally. And that is what's happening. Is there anything that you want to do before that comes about?
Well, we all need to be, by the airlock.
Okay. You're gonna have everybody
with their
go to the
vac
airlock?
suits on.
With
Yeah,
vac suits on, yes.
Weapons. Yeah.
And weapons, not pointed at the doors, but let's look at this internal geography a little bit.
Yeah, I don't suppose we have any spaces that we can stow a
okay,
weapon
so
we can quickly grab.
right, there's a couple ways on the ship, right? Are they connecting with an umbilicus or something?
Yeah, that's exactly how they're gonna try to do it.
Okay, well then it looks like the way to do that is through the I mean, there's the primary passenger airlock.
Yeah, I mean, they can do
left.
that.
Then
Let's.
there's a cargo airlock, which is huge.
I'd assumed that they would just work it out through the cargo airlock, and that it was compartmentalized in some way. But you can tell them what. I mean, what do you tell them what to do? And who's on comms? It's is it
Books normally.
Books? What do you pick? You're the one on comms, so you tell them where to go.
What are the options?
It sounds like you could probably have them connect through the cargo bay or in the passenger lounge, essentially. And I'm talking about where you would ultimately meet them after they enter the ship.
I would say cargo bay.
Okay. Yeah. So cargo bay.
This is the airlock on either side on deck 3.
For the cargo airlock.
It's on deck 3 if you go over to the right.
The right.
Oh, nice. Okay, my bad. Piece of cake. Yeah, so they do that. And they're armed. They keep everything at a low carry. They've got vac suits on. And they come aboard. They don't raise their weapons. One of them comes out, pops his helmet off, strides out to meet you. You recognize this. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if I got this wrong. It's been a while. But I'm pretty sure that this would be Shipley and Marcello and Bellamy, that you all would recognize this person. This is Lucas Kelly, the first mate of the Autumn Gold.
Oh, that was.
Oh wow, it's a long time ago.
That was yeah.
I have that.
But
written
is he
down
the one who
somewhere.
got dragged off for smuggling contraband, or is he the one who had to step up?
Yeah, and Books and Chapman, you would recognize this person as well, but you simply had a very pleasant experience with them in your transportation via the Autumn Gold. Unfortunately, yes, Shipley, this is the first mate that got dragged away in front of the crew by Imperial Marines.
Okay.
So who are these with him? How are they dressed? And how is he dressed?
You can tell that they have vac suits and they're dressed for zero-G combat.
But is there any particular insignia, or is it just a smattering of assorted vac suits?
So far, it looks very patchwork. You know, it looks very, yeah, they don't seem to have some kind of common insignia or uniform or anything.
Okay, well, I'll say, Lucas. Looks like your fortunes have changed since last we saw each other.
Captain Bellamy. It's good to see you all. And
Should I call you Captain Lucas?
yes, you can, in fact.
Well, congratulations.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you might want to hold on to your congratulations yet. I appreciate you letting us come aboard and chat.
All right. Should we get somewhere more comfortable, or is it quick what you have to say?
It's not quick. And I had heard, and it seems like it's true, Isabella and Mr. Velez, I think, and Isabella and Velez look at each other and like, with whom are we speaking? Then he like turns toward him, turns back to, to you all. Yeah, they don't know this person.
Marcello, why don't you make some of your famous, engine grease cafe, and we'll,
Oh, I'd be more than happy
it.
to.
That's what I call it. It's wonderful stuff. You have to see for yourself.
Absolutely. So I repair a way to a place where I can
go to the passenger common area.
Pot.
Because that's where you were cooking it before. I think there's like.
He comes forward. Lucas comes forward. He says, "Wait, Marcello, before you go." And he takes something out of his vac suit, and it's vacuum sealed. He pops open a vacuum seal with a hiss, a container, and he pulls out a carton of cigarettes that are made from non-synthetic material. They're made from tobacco.
Oh, man.
Marcello's jaw drops and his eyes pop open wide.
Mouth-watering. The smell is like permeating the cargo bay. Probably, it's like wow.
He hands it. He's like, "Hey, you know what they say? There's good ways and bad ways to die."
Well, I wasn't expecting this kind of hospitality from a guest.
Well,
it's much appreciated.
Return the favor with this food. I can't wait. Yeah, let's not waste any time. I have lots of bad news and great importance to talk to you about if you'll hear us out.
Sure. We're par for the course at this point.
Do you mind if my crew just if they stay here for a while? I didn't have any way of knowing. They can join us if you like. Or I could send them back, whichever you'd prefer.
We got enough room at the table?
You don't. Yeah.
Our galley is not that big.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Look, if you could do something to us, I figure you would have done it a lot easier by now, so I don't see any reason why they can't stick around.
Great, thanks.
Unless any of my crew objects,
He nods back. He says, "Everybody, leave this place the way you found it. Take a break." He points over toward the hold. They shrug.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. And then he strides forward and he reaches out his hand to Lothak, and he's like, I don't think we've met. Lothak looks at his hand, looks like around it, and then you can see the sides of her proprioceptors and nostril flare up. You know, she tries to figure out what to do with the hand. And then he operates.
Wait,
we've covered this.
She really never encountered this?
We've covered this.
She's from Alston. They're 90% Vargar.
Oh, how many tricks do we have to teach you? Shake.
You have covered this, though. You know, the good news is that she's picked up really important things like shotgun shootouts in a casino. She's good at that, so.
She's got the essentials down.
Yeah.
This is Lothak. She's from Walston.
And then Lothak says, I'm Lothak. I'm from Walston. And he says, oh, nice to meet you. Lucas Kelly. I got to provide transportation for your crew, and so I heard about them. I figured out they were going to have to come by Asseltine. That's where my crew and I do work out of, and we've got some pretty serious things to talk about. And as you come back to the room, so when you get into the room, he says, so, who's the comms officer?
That'd be
I am
Mr. Books, yeah.
Ah, Books. Good to see you again, Books. Would you say that this, back in like the common area, would you say this is a secure area? Can anybody hear us? Passengers, things like that?
I believe so. Why do you ask?
What I'm about to talk about could have all of us hanged.
I mean, we're that's another thing we're starting to get used to, but
yeah.
Well,
I never get used to that.
I mean, this should be fine. Bulkheads are closed. I've got, you know, anti-hijack software.
All right.
If they're managing to listen from the low berths, then you know I'm impressed. Let them listen.
All right.
Yeah, we don't have any mid passengers right now.
Okay. Well, I believe you. I believe you. More than anything, it's for your own safety. I just don't want I don't want you to be incriminated from what I'm about to say. Miss Isabella, Mr. Velez, I have also heard through my sources that you have been working with my friends here, and that's why I saw an opportunity and wanted to reach out to you all. As you know, the last time you saw me, I went on a trip with some Imperial Marines, and I was taken away from my friends in the Autumn Gold. From everything I'm about to say, you can do whatever you want with this information. As far as I'm concerned, you can go to the next port, not Asteltine. To be honest, they're not going to want to do this, but you can go right back to Flammarion. You can turn this in to the Imperial Security Bureau there, Imperial Intelligence. I don't care, the police, and you can give them the name Lucas Kelly, and you can say they intercepted us on our way to Asteltine. And you can put it in your report, and I don't mind. But look, the Imperium is retreating from this place. After the war, they promised these worlds that they would repair things. These are the border worlds with the Zidani Empire, or the Zidani Consulate, sorry. They were going to strengthen their security. They were going to increase trade. They were going to worlds that have been largely abandoned and left to balkanization, infighting, and bloodshed and starvation and everything else in between. for 200 years now, and 2 of these wars. We had heard that things were going to change here, and the other thing that you should know is, are you familiar with the duchy, Duke Adarkai?
Not as such. Which duchy?
Well, these sectors, about 200 light years across, have long been, there's long been talk of them becoming one super sector called Deneb. And the person closest to the throne is the Lord of Deneb, Duke Adarkai. And that is how this investment was supposed to work for District 268. I think he had promised this to His Majesty. And it's not happening. And instead something much worse is happening. I think that it's clear the Duke of Iteradai is creating a shadow state. A pseudo-imperial state. And is sucking these planets dry. I think it's just a thoroughfare for the Imperial Navy. I don't know why they're... let me bring up Traveler Map again. I don't know why they're traveling spinward past Iteradai. That is the direction of the Zerdani Consulate. It's been out of the Navy for a long time. But the Imperium is not interested in the crimes committed by Duke Norris. And as they continue pulling resources away from District 268, these people will suffer more and more.
Well, that's definitely bad, but... is there something we can do about it?
We have to end the rule of Duke Norris.
On Iteradai.
That's in my least favorite direction.
Yeah, mine too. No, well, I wish you luck. I mean, he certainly seems to be doing a terrible job. I'll admit that much.
I understand. But look, this isn't the Imperium we fought for. And they're nowhere to be seen. And when you see the Imperial sunburst out here, it means something else. I think it's going to get harder to live out here as a free trader. Now...
yeah, it's already hard. We're barely pulling it together. If we don't make this sale, and if we don't sell it for something good, we're about to be hard up with the bank.
I worked on the Autumn Gold for years. Surely you have seen how this works.
Oh, hold up. Ross, you started... could you say that last thing again?
I said I worked on the Autumn Gold for years. Surely you've seen how this works. The independents are the ones that are actually driving things here. They're the ones that are actually delivering goods, making deals. It's the independent traders that are free of these corporations that are ran by noble houses. They're the ones that are able to actually move goods to these small worlds. People like yourself. And at every turn, you can't tell me that you haven't faced problems related to security, the Starport administration, corporations, infighting, government's
think
imploding.
we all start rubbing our temples at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and more than anything, I don't mean any offense by this, but I actually came aboard to speak to you. And he turns toward Isabella, and she says, and she's already like crossed her arms, and she's like, "We have nothing to talk about, sir. I am a loyal citizen of the Imperium." And he says, "Yeah, so was I. But you're out here now. And I've heard that you care about people. That's why you came out here. Look, the way you're going to help people here isn't what you thought. You can help us, Isabella." And then he passes a hand computer over to Isabella. He's like, "You can do with that what you will. Throw it away, hand it in to the authorities. But if you actually want to make a difference here, this is how."
Well,
How about you go see how Marcello's grub is coming along? I need a word with my captain about this.
I was just thinking that myself. He smiles, gets up, and walks off.
I have a handful of questions
yeah.
to best inform this, and part of this
I
you
don't
can
think
answer.
any of this is news. We've heard this
Nothing-
from a number of sources already. And haven't we already run into somebody who was trying to overthrow the Duke?
Well,
I think it was one. We heard some rumor in a bar here, actually, of disgruntled veterans who were trying to foment rebellion against the imperial presence. And at the time, we said no, thank you, and walked off, as I recall.
yeah, although that was... There's probably more... I think there's more than one interest going, but Chapman, what were your list of questions?
Firstly, so he seems to suggest that Duke Norris of Iterati is almost independent of the Imperium, or that's what his aspirations ultimately are. He described it as setting up a shadow state.
Yeah.
If we were, if someone were to take action against him, is that explicitly anti-Imperium? Would that make us traitors to the Imperium?
We already know. First of all, we're already known as terrorists, associates of terrorists, and it was his government that named us that.
Right.
So we already know he's a bad guy, and we know he's doing a bad job. I'm just not convinced how much of it's our business. I'd like to get back to the parts of the Imperium that don't have to deal with guys like this. Of course he's gonna set himself up if they're withdrawing their investments and everything else in these worlds. I mean, he's it. He's the guy around, and he's gonna take advantage of it. But I'm sorry for the people, but what's one barely armed free trader gonna do about it?
Well, another
episode title.
I want to. I need a couple more details about how exactly our mortgage payment works for this here boat, because who exactly do we make those to? What is their presence in this region? And what happens if we were to miss our payment? Because presumably, if civilization is falling away from the
that doesn't mean the banks don't want their money. They're gonna have setups. They're gonna have branches at all of them. I don't know.
I can answer that mechanically, but go ahead.
I was gonna just say, Ross, stop me if I'm wrong about anything I'm about to say, but I'm just gonna say basically on anything with a starport, like I would feel like Asteltine they would have like some version of an ATM where payments can be made, because where else is a starship going to make payments but at a starport? They're going to constantly be at them. So
Can you restate your question, Alex, just to make sure
So, is there a specific banking institution that we pay to? And if so, what kind of presence do they have out here in the Bowman Arm? And what kinds of means are at their disposal to come collect it if we don't pay? Because here's what I'm thinking, is that, like, if the Imperium can't maintain their presence out here, is a bank able to? I mean, obviously it's their intention that we pay them, and they'll set up an ATM for us too.
So let me answer that.
I assume they would send bounty hunters normally if we can't, but like there comes a point where that becomes no longer feasible if you can't summon the wherewithal to actually, enforce what you intend to.
Yeah, I can answer that in 3 parts that I think will answer the question. The first one, the banks, how your payments work, both in terms of you being able to pay and them wanting you to pay, you can expect that to be reliable. So you don't have to worry about that. The second thing is that what happens when you don't pay is called skipping, which maybe you already read that, but essentially the way skipping works is the closer you are to where you're supposed to pay, the more likely a bounty hunter will show up in your hold. And then the further you get away from that, the more. And then if you like skip again and you make it back in, I kind of treat crime this way too. Like if you show up a second time, it gets even worse. Like, and they can kind of trade information. It's like a police network. So the more you come around, the easier it is for them to pull you in, and the further you are away from it, the easier you can skip. Lastly, because this is not in the rules, the more civilized place you go to, the harder it is to skip. Like, the more you go into the arms of civilization, the harder it is to skip or commit a crime.
That's what I expect, and it sounds like we're describing the end of civilization in the Bowman Arm, as though this can become a more comfortable place to avoid the long arm of the banking, of the banker guys.
Well, that would be true if our home base wasn't Flammarion. I don't know where. I'm guessing that's the center of our banking activity. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, so therefore, no matter how much it falls, interest in Flammarion is still going to be a Class A starport, still going to be a Imperium in name, and there's a naval base there. It's just like, yeah, civilization might be collapsing, but we're right next to one of its little bastions out here, so. And then so I don't know, but then the next question is, well, I guess you kind of answered it already. I would have been worried about moving closer to civilization if we move more core or more trailing. But are you saying, Ross, that it's not the same? It's not the same bank, basically. So it's like we can make payments no matter where we are, but it's not. They're not going to be able to wield as many resources, even if we move closer with to actual civilization in the Imperium part of the marches.
Now, my understanding of skipping is essentially the further away from where you pay, the higher the dice roll needs to be in order for there to be a bounty hunter. But right. What I'm adding to that, so this is a house rule, essentially, is that it's not just getting farther away, but if you get farther away but along an X-boat route, it doesn't matter that you're farther away. So if you're getting further into civilization, you don't gain that benefit as much.
Yeah. Like it might be safer, quote unquote, safer for us in the sword worlds in terms of avoiding bounty hunters.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. But
it's not gonna, we just have to deal with sword worlders.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing is, anyway, skipping is bad.
Skipping's bad. If civilization is really declining at such a doomsday-like rate as we're being told, it sounds more and more viable, but I don't like that idea. Our long-term goal, allegedly, is that to save up enough money that we can get a better hyperdrive so that we can make bigger jumps so we can finally start heading seriously trailing. Maybe skipping over some of the nasty stops along the way, like Nirton and Caliburn. And I'm just thinking, and here in the Bowman Arm, just trying to scrounge up that money until we get there, the worse it's going to get. Maybe the most prudent thing would be to help contribute something to getting rid of this Duke Norris guy, helping to restore better Imperium presence.
Well, let's
getting rid of.
Let me hear.
I will only point out that nobody has offered to pay us for this yet.
Yeah, there's that.
There's a lot of appeals to our sense of duty and justice, and not a lot of credit.
Let's go around.
I'm not advocating for duty and justice. I'm saying that hypothetically, it should have a knock-on effect that makes this whole region less infested by pirates, terrorists, maybe Vikings, the kinds of things that have been causing us so much trouble.
Let's go around the table here. Books, what do you think?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of agreeing with Chapman. I don't know. I'm still fairly undecided. But
you need to have a look at that data pad.
Yeah.
Isabella pushes it toward Marcello, presumably. Okay, yeah. Well, what do you think, Marcello?
Listen, I hate to be the straight man, but I don't like being in arrears of my debts. If what I'm hearing right is that Chapman's thinking that we can take advantage of the disintegration of the imperial rule out here to skip out on our payments? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that seems to me what would happen if things are going the way that our friend is telling us they are. But I do prefer the alternative, where that's not the case. I would rather be making lawful payments on our debts and have no pirates to worry about, rather than having, free reign to roam around this place without owing anything to the bank, except having to constantly deal with pirates and terrorists and that kind of thing. But I think it's going to end up being one or the other, if that makes sense.
What about the dock?
Well, civilization might be falling apart all around us, but that's all the more reason for us to maintain standards. That's what I think.
All right. Yeah. What about Doc Ocean? What do you think?
Was there any specific reason why we can't land on Asseltine? I feel like he skirted around that.
Oh, he didn't say we can't land. He just...
I thought he mentioned something about us not being able to land on Asseltine, or did I hear wrong?
He said we wouldn't find anyone sympathetic to the Empire on Asseltine if we wanted to turn him in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can still make our drop off of the weapons at Asseltine and then make our way to Squalia, right?
Well,
I feel like we're getting.
Yeah, he's not giving. It doesn't sound to me like he's giving us a mission right now. But we need to have a look at this data pad and see, because we asked what could one Type A trader do about it or something like that. Or
maybe he has a whole game plan already lined up.
Marcello, do you want to look at the data pad, and if so, what do you do with it?
Sure, I'll look at the data pad. So what? He handed me a data pad, or Isabella?
Yeah, so he handed it to Isabella because he's actually here for Isabella, not for you all. But he, that being said, he still gave his kind of pitch. And so he handed her a data pad, and then when Bellamy brought up, well, we should look at it, but Isabella just pushed it over to you on the table.
Oh, yeah. So sure. I'll pick it up, step over to the document there, and scan the... What does the title of the document say?
So it doesn't include any identifying information, but you can tell what it is. It has you know, coordinates. In this case, the coordinates are 3D, you know, with the z-axis in the solar system for some kind of rendezvous. You know, essentially like go here to this signal buoy. And presumably that's like the point of contact for Isabella and specifically. And then it includes it does have a document which is quite gruesome, where it essentially shows all sorts of examples of the atrocities of the Idarati, you know, government. You know, like saying, and many of which like are not surprising to you because a lot of them are just rally. You know, but there are a couple of other worlds, you know, to try to say, look, like, do you want to help or not? That's sort of the pitch to Isabella. Like, if you actually want to help, this is how you're going to have to help. You're going to have to put a stop to this. And then that's the two components of just like the data is like, you know, if you want to help, look at all this stuff. We need to stop it, and then here's a place to meet. That's what you get on the surface.
Well, yeah. Well, I relay this to everybody else, and I mean, okay, I get it. It looks like Duke Norris is not a nice guy, and the question is, like, what are we going to do about it? Are we supposed to show up at these coordinates and then what?
Isabella
we bring
responds to that.
Isabella?
She says, "I have absolutely no intention of doing that. I recognize that I am still in your debt, and I hope to pay it off, and to help my colleagues and I pay for passage back Corward. And in the meantime, I think it's true, Mr. Velez, we are going to try to be as valuable of crew members on your crew as we can. But apart from that, Mr. Velez and I and our colleagues intend to head Corward. We will not betray the Imperium or its authorities, or actually commit treason, and we're confident that we can work out these legal troubles."
Okay. I appreciate that, but then I look to everybody else, and I mean, it's all very well and fine to sort of say, no, we're not, thank you, but no thank you. But the guys down in the cargo hold have weapons. I'm not sure if, like, is our friend gonna, like, press us into this? Is that a possibility? I'm addressing anybody on the crew.
Yeah.
My gut says no.
No? Didn't read that on him.
I think it's always a possibility. You never know. It's a cruel world out there.
Yeah, that's why we
Well, in
greet,
that case, we can blame the
visitors with-
captain for letting him keep his men on board.
Yeah.
Well, you know, again, is this a time-sensitive affair?
You see nothing in the datapad, Marcello, that would indicate that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the case.
Hey,
I don't
Lucas. I'm gonna shout out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I got that kind of crossed. You know, so anyways, he comes back. He says,
Question for you.
May I take a seat?"
Well, sure.
Thanks.
But a question for you.
Yeah. Yes, of course. I imagine you must have a lot of questions.
What's the time frame on? Is there a time frame on this? What are these coordinates for? I mean, you know, is there somebody going to be waiting out there looking at their watch?
Captain, we are going to need all the help we can get. With whatever casual support from the actual Imperial Navy that the Duke of Iterati can muster of local patrol craft, I can't imagine that they will gain the support of the Imperial Navy. It seems like they have some major operation spinward, but this will have to be, this cannot be a long revolution. This must be lightning fast. It has to complete its objective rapidly and completely and soon and in secret. Because the longer we wait, the longer we get found out by Imperial intelligence, and eventually the Imperial Navy and the Imperial Marines are going to show up. And you know very well what will happen if that happens. So, is it time sensitive? Yes. But Isabella, I am appealing to your reputation, that from having asked around, and the information I've gathered, my understanding is that you risked your lives and all of your colleagues risked their lives to travel all the way across the galaxy to come here to help these people. And I think if you take a look at that data pad, you'll realize that so long as the Duke of Iterati is in control of District 268 by proxy, and by exercising an illegal authority in a non-imperial territory among independent worlds, no one here is going to get helped. And people here are going to continue to be taken advantage of until he bleeds this place dry. And the corporations that operate here in these independent worlds, the noble houses that control them, they're going to get the ore out of Astaltine and Bowman one way or another. They're going to get the ore out, and the radioactives, and there's nothing else in this place that anybody cares about. And at this, actually, let me do a reaction roll. Well, yeah, Isabella, actually, you see her features soften. Go ahead.
Okay, practical question. Oh, Chapman, you were going to say something.
It's going to sound unrelated, but a couple things. So one of our things is we're heading to Bowman to go pick up a gun from some space Vikings, right?
Yeah.
You say that out loud?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, sure. I don't care about the present company. Yeah, sure.
He smiles.
Two. Are we actually expecting to meet our old friends, those space Vikings, those charming fellows, when we get there?
Gosh, I hope so. At this point, I miss them.
Yeah, same. And then third, and then maybe you could see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they originally were on Raleigh, if my memory is correct, because they had ambitions to conquer it for themselves, right? And it went terribly. Obviously, they all split apart and they splintered and all that. But that was what their intention was, right?
Sure. Yeah, they wanted a world for themselves.
I'm not saying that one little free trader ship with one brand new gun is going to be that much of a contribution to our revolution, but we could have a much bigger weapon we can point towards the Duke. And that is a lot of angry space Vikings who would love some new territory.
I don't know if we want to unleash space Vikings on Iterati.
Or, enlist them in our cause. Maybe we can keep them on a leash.
Velez slams his hand down on the table and he says, Chapman, that is high treason. The Soreworlders are the enemies of the Imperium. And the captain is right. Have you not heard of the things they do to conquered worlds?
I'm just saying, I don't follow the rationale that I don't follow the rationale that Duke Norris is himself anything that we as Imperials should be loyal to anymore, right? I don't see acting against him as treason. But he's the main thing that's causing the Imperial presence to disintegrate in this region.
You young people. The Imperium has never cared how the locals run their worlds. They only care that trade keeps moving. So, you know, if you're going to start growing a conscience about what's happening on Interati, how many other worlds are we going to have to put right that are way deep in the Imperium, way deep in friendly territory? I mean, come on. Let's get real here. Now, I can understand, you know, hey, if the time is right and the iron's hot and all that, and this is like an opportunistic thing, that kind of thing happens even in the Imperium. Brothers overthrowing each other and everything else, the Imperium doesn't care as long as the trade keeps moving. So in that sense, I kind of agree with both of you here. There's actually no reason why we couldn't help make this happen as long as it doesn't impact whatever the Navy's trying to do. There's not a reason why the Imperium would even care, really. So I see what Lucas is saying on that one.
Captain Kelly, to that, he says, so it sounds like everyone is interested in payment.
You know how it goes.
I do. Look, to be blunt, it works like this. You'll be paid. And then he points out the, you know, if there's like a... This is old sci-fi, so like if there's like a viewport, he points out to the ship a beam that's been like just stacked with weapons and retrofitted, you know, into some abomination that it was never intended to be. And he says, we have more ships like that. And this ship could be modified too. So it works like this. Pay, you know, changes to your ship, sure. But admittedly, if you're going to get involved in this enterprise, it will be very dangerous. I'm not going to lie to you. You'll be seen as enemies of the Imperium. But I didn't come here for you, Captain. You're just free traders, and I'm just telling you, I think I'm just trying to say this is what's happening out in the black, one way or another. I came here for Isabella. I need her help. And he turns to Isabella and he says, I hope you'll consider it. I know this is not how you thought things would go when you were coreward in the core worlds, but this is how it is here. And I think if you want to actually change things, you will need to get your hands dirty. And we need your help to do that. And then he you know, gets ready to leave. Does anybody else? Let me hear from other people. Doc, Marcello, Books. You all have any questions? Anything you want to add?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead,
Yes.
please.
As he's walking away, I lean into the group and with a lowered voice, I say, look, I think we should just accomplish the missions that we have on our hand right now and get paid and pay off our debts for this ship. I think that's the way to go right now.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think we should just stick with what we have going on now.
I don't know that we're in a position to help anyone right now. We can't even pay our own ship payment, and we don't have the gun that we would need if we were actually going to get involved in some kind of military operation. So, assuming we were interested, I don't think we're in a position to do so right now.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
would be fun, though.
The whole proposition is just too vague. I mean, there's not even a specific plan of action, not even a specific offer of recompense for us. It just seems madness. And also, Isabella's not interested.
Well, I don't know. You've seen his data. What are you thinking now, Isabella?
Just taps her fingers on the table, and she says, we swore an oath when we started working for the Red Sun. But this is not the sort of thing the Red Sun does. I don't have expertise in this sort of thing. I feel like I don't know. And so, you know, Captain Kelly has walked off, and then you guys can go back to the airlock in a minute, right? So she's saying this just to you all. It's true, though, what he says, that everything here is a tangled mess. And it's true that things didn't turn out the way I thought. But I don't want to betray Imperials. How many people would suffer and die over this? It's clear that they intend bloodshed. I don't know. I can't imagine. It seems unconscionable. She pushes the data pad back to you all.
Well, I think either way, I agree with the thought that we gotta finish what's on our plate right now, best we can. If we do that, we'll be heading back this direction anyway, because we gotta deliver whatever, if any, info to Anders. So, and also to to your buddy, the lawyer. So we're getting involved in the doings out here one way or the other, and it's possible when we're in the midst of doing those jobs, we may find out more to sway us one way or the other.
All right. Well, I will move everybody back to the airlock. And, let's see, where's he at? Space Captain, there he is. Captain Kelly, he gets his vac suit back on, gets suited up. All his troopers are getting suited up. And before he puts his helmet on and gets ready to enter the umbilicus, he says, you know where to find us, and either way, no matter what happens, I wish for you bright stars to navigate by, and I hope you make 200 million credits out here. Maybe 400 million.
Why not? Why not?
I heard that you all worked in the same area of operation as him. It's quite an honor. General Robinson, did you meet him?
I don't know, did we?
Robinson is there's a group called
Colonel. I thought it was Colonel Robinson. Yeah.
Back then,
Okay.
But
yeah, he pulled our butts out of the fire, if I remember correctly.
Wow, that is an incredible honor. Yeah, I try not to be starstruck, but I met him once. I really think things could change around here. All of these resource shortfalls, all this chaos, something good could come of it. I want to hope, anyway. He puts his helmet on and leaves. And
So-
I have a lot of
Robinson's Rangers. Go on, Marcello. Sorry.
can't help but thinking that I have a lot of respect for that guy Lucas.
Yeah, I agree.
Seems like his heart is in the right place.
It's just that that's
And
a
it
place.
seems like Go ahead.
No, please.
Yeah, no, he's got his heart in the right place. He's not a softie. I mean, he's got a ship that's armed to the gills. So he's ready to back up his beliefs. I gotta say, I have some respect for that. Maybe if he had maybe a more specific offer for us, I might have been interested in following his path. But it just seemed way too vague for me.
Ripley, how far out are these coordinates? And I'll ask Marcello, ask her to look at the data pad and see if you can put it in the
Sure.
computer and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I can do that.
How much of a diversion
so-
would it be?
How far away are these coordinates? Ripley?
Turns out Walston is the rebel base.
So, I don't know, Shipley, do you take the data pad and try to
Yeah.
look it in the nav computer? Okay, so when you do that, by the way, so Asteltine is, let me see here, 2, 3. It's a binary star system. Just a reminder from last time, it's been a while since we've been to Asteltine. Binary star system. The primary planet is this liquid ammonia planet that has a huge planetary belt. That's kind of one of its main features. And the high port is an asteroid base. And anyways, you appeared a day and a half out away from the primary planet, which is the third planet in the first star system. It's in the belt in Asteltane. So there's some kind of comm buoy that looks like that's what this would be, that you would like connect to a comm buoy when you get there and then receive some kind of message from there or something. But anyways, it's about a day out of the way. You would have to actually travel out closer to the edge of the planetary belt.
Well,
Maybe this is some kind of a dead drop, or the idea is to pick up some kind of information about this plan.
yeah. I just
Um,
don't. You know, he was so interested in Isabella's role, but he didn't say what that would be.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Maybe she really is a terrorist.
Yeah.
So I think on doing like sensors and navs, is that also books, or is that who is doing like sensors, or is that Marcello? Sensors officer, if you will. I can look at the ship.
That might be me. I don't remember.
It's
That-
okay.
and that's right now. It has books listed there, and I think that's the same as sensors and communications, or like.
Oh, okay, yeah,
One
sensors
scanner.
comms. Okay, so it's books. So books, you see on, once you head back to the cockpit, eventually you can see that the ship seems to be heading out into the void. Presumably, it seems like they're plotting a flight plan for a jump. Eventually, they disappear from your radar, more than 200,000 kilometers out.
My vote is let's land, get this stuff sold, and deal with, because the payment's coming up in 3 days. Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see how bad the news is and how deeply, and let me ask everybody now, are you all willing to dip into your personal funds to cover the difference if we have to not miss a payment this time? I'm hoping it won't have to be by that
Absolute.
much, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doc, you
Yes.
down, Doc? Okay.
Yes.
So that's my suggestion, is we go ahead and land, get everything sold, and, get back to reality here. And then we can think about the, being the heroes of the sector later.
All right. So what do you do next? Do you set in a course?
Yeah, I mean, let's go back on course if that's all right with everybody, unless you know there's a persuasion to try and go to that data point first. I'm a little nervous about it, to tell you the truth, because it's not the safest system.
We can always drop by on our way out, assuming we're able to make our payments if we're still interested. A lot could change in port.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I'm trying to find the what is your computer setup? What is your current software load?
Okay. So now that those guys are off, we're gonna take anti-hijack away and put it's gonna have maneuver and auto evade and an anti-hijack.
I want to throw this out there, and it's whatever's fun for you guys. So, Chris, you built the ship, literally. So, just so you all know, like, I was like, hey, build a ship. And he did. So, like, he used the rules and did all the stuff for it.
I was very minimal. I don't want to take any credit. All I changed was really the computer.
Yeah, I mean, so, and as a character, you own the ship. But I want to throw out there, like, since Marcello can both hypothetically maybe eventually create a program, either way, in the business of buying, selling, understanding, hacking, all the computery things, since he's a computer guy, what do you think? Is this something? It's a little crunchy. Is that something you'd find fun, as managing the computer software?
Yeah.
It's up to you, and of course up to you, Chris, because you did build it. So I don't know, you guys chat and talk about it. It's the stuff on page 38, and that might, that way you don't have to worry about all of it too. That's another thing. That way you can.
It's really I mean, yeah. So I don't. When you say page 32, I don't know.
Oh, sorry, 40 is 38, 39, 40, yeah.
Of the PDF.
Of the facsimile, the 30.
Okay.
Let's see.
So, I mean, to me, the quick reference form is page 81 of the PDF, where you have a form, a literal form, like a task form, which shows you all the possible computer programs.
And we can go over it later. I just want to kind of throw that out to say, hey, if we want to divvy that up, that is something. You got a computer guy, maybe, if you wanted to. It's up to you guys, though.
Oh, if only he had computer too.
Yeah. But you could still do a lot of stuff with it. Like, if something happens and you start getting hacked, you're probably going to call on Marcello to be like, what is happening, Marcello? But anyways, okay. So you set course. You do anti-hijack and what else?
Auto evade and maneuver.
Auto evade and maneuver. Okay. All right. Eventually, there's some traffic that passes you by. They identify. They're just common traders. There's a couple of subsidized merchants. Eventually, you get out within a couple hours out of. You're about to enter the non-safe jump distance range of Astaltine. Astaltine is this sickly kind of yellow-green planet. But as I said before, its main feature is a huge planetary asteroid belt that circles around it, and you start setting in a course to reach one of the asteroids, a large asteroid that is the high port. And they query you, and they say, incoming traffic, this is Astaltine Control. State your intentions. This would be books.
Books.
Yeah, your comms.
Our intentions, I We are. What's the name of our ship? Again, I'm sorry.
Lady of Mercia.
Lady of Mercy. Yeah.
And in
Hi,
the
Lady.
VTT, you can see in the right hand side, you can find the characters if you're ever looking for a character name, as well as the Lady of Mercia, and you can see who is in what role, and you can see some of its stats if you ever want to look that up.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I could see that here now, the Lady of Mercia. So that's what I would say. Greetings. We're the Lady of Mercia. Just just trying to pass through here.
I understand. And are you looking for a landing clearance?
Yes.
And then it takes some time. They come back a few minutes later. Slight delay, from the signal from the transmission. You get back. Cleared to land, pad 3 Alpha.
Okay, great.
So you still have about an hour left before you come in to land, and Lothak says to how do you guys set up the cockpit? Let's see here. Move back.
I'm back in the office area, which you said before was sort of raised, kind of like with a bridge chair type thing.
Yeah. So I think
As opposed to being
Lothak
closed off.
is. Oh, Coleman's not there anymore. Did I not bring Shipley's token on here? Let me put Shipley on here. Here's the navigator, and then I think, and then we have Doc Ocean. So probably closest to Shipley, Lothak leans over and is like, do you think we would have a time to talk with the crew before we come in and dock?
Of course. What is it? Do you want me to call the captain and assemble a meeting, or was it something more casual?
Yeah. I think I want to have a meeting. And she
Okay.
Sure.
I'm kind of taken off guard because Lothak doesn't usually seem to have many emergencies. But I'll alert the crew and let them know there's going to be another unexpected huddle, and hopefully it's not yet another revolution, but you never know.
All right. So, right before the time you would need to kind of strap in a critical, like you'd land, and that's the SOP, right? If you're going to jump, if you're coming out of jump, if you're landing or taking off, or if you're in combat, you're always going to be strapped in, vac suit on, weapon at your side. All crew alert.
I can have us fly in circles for a little bit if that's what Lothak needs.
Holding. Yeah, maybe you want to have the pilot actually up there. I don't know. Maybe you want to have it on autopilot.
We can talk on the bridge. We can talk on the bridge.
You want to have it on the bridge? You can have it on the bridge. Lothak's not in charge. Whatever you think's best. So, let's see here. Move everybody back here. So, at that, she stands up, and there's been some things about Lothak that Doc Ocean, you automatically know what's going on. I feel certain. But for the rest of you, you have noticed over the past week in Jump, Lothak her coat has changed in the past few weeks that she's been with the crew. And she has a bad smell, unfortunately. Yeah.
It's the Ponfar.
It's not Ponfar.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's, no Ponfar allowed in this game.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Ross.
it's great.
It'll never happen again.
That's fine. That's great. Okay, so yeah, I would just anybody? No, you're not sure, but she looks different, and she smells sometimes strangely. But Doc Ocean, you can see that she is in poor health. Now, you're not a xenobiologist, and you're not a xenomedicine specialist. In fact, the person that has passed one of those checks has been Shipley, but because she has jack of all trades. But it's obvious that she is overweight, has cardiovascular issues, and has digestive issues. That's what's happening with Lothak. For Doc Ocean, you can tell. So anyways, Lothak, she says, she stands up in front of everybody and she says, I think I should mention some things before we go into Asteltine and try to make a trade deal in the Vargar Conclave.
Oh, mention away.
Right.
We're all ears.
Yes. She scratches her ears at that. Okay. Well, you see, the first thing is, I think if they find out who you are, they're gonna kill you. I think that should be, you know that, right? She turns toward the books. You know that if they find out who you are, they'll kill you, right?
Yeah. Now I'm sure of it. Yeah.
The other thing is, I think they're gonna find out who you are.
Is that because of you?
No, it's just humans are kind of okay at tricking other humans with that, but they're going to be able to tell that you're the infamous criminals that betrayed them in Startown Liberty. They're going to be able
I
to know.
still smell like that bar or that jail cell.
And she kind of like, yeah, she can like get some whiff of that bar back in Startown Liberty. And
That was how many months ago?
as we established in the very beginning, some smells just don't go away.
It's a McClellan beer.
So yeah, go ahead.
Books and I just won't join that. We'll keep ourselves scarce, maybe.
That could work.
Nobody mentioned our scuzzy lawyer friend either.
But if they figure out who you're associated with, it might work. And that could help. I wanted to offer an alternative.
You're going to be our rep.
No. No.
All right.
They're gonna try to kill you. You should kill them.
Oh well, that's a good idea. But who do you mean by them?
Well, whoever.
Nikanak or the.
And she gets a little mad at that, and she's like Kavakanak, and she says the whole word. Like.
Sorry, I'm bad at it. I'm going to say. I can't speak Vargar.
and she and she says, if they confront you and you stand up to them and you kill whatever person comes to try to take you out, and then you make the deal anyway, it might clear the slate.
What about if we haul up all of those bodies from the cold storage and present them, and then we can skip the step of having to kill somebody else?
Yeah, that could work. Yeah.
Great. I knew it was a good idea to store them.
Oh, yeah. She realizes you have a bunch of, Vargar bodies on you, She's
So
like,
that could work, you say.
Everything is a commodity to humans. It's unbelievable.
Well, look, it wouldn't have to be if we hadn't had this weird Vargar scenario to deal with, so maybe it's sort of a hand-in-hand thing, a yin and yang.
You're not getting out of this, Captain. Just accept it.
Well,
You deserve this.
So,
We did list them as agricultural goods.
That was the customs guy's suggestion. And it was a good idea.
So, So she says, so you're going to try to transport them and then make it look like you beat them up? Or what's the plan?
So who are you talking about? When we interact with Kafurkanak, or when we interact, or if we find out that they're definitely in bed with the League of Equals, or whatever they're called?
The Kafurkanak, when you go to the Vargar Enclave, or Conclave on Astaltine, I think they're going to try to confront you and kill you. So you're going to try to use the Vargar, these terrorists? You're going to, like, what, toss them at their feet?
That work?
Should we invite them aboard our ship to make this exchange? I mean, we're just selling them the firearms, right?
She gets frustrated. It's not about making a trade deal. No, you have to show that you're in charge of the situation. If they try to kill you, you need to face them down or make it look like you did. But it needs to be obvious. Something really ostentatious.
Okay, so we roll out the cold storage and we dump them at their feet and say, let's talk price.
Now you got to be more alpha dog. That's what she's saying.
That's what I'm trying.
We dominate the situation.
And then she burps and it smells bad.
Are you feeling okay, Lothak?
She rubs her stomach. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Can I recommend a nutrition plan for you? I can write one up for you real quick.
She looks at you and growls a little bit. You see, like, circles under her eyes, too. Like her, even the fur on her face has changed.
Is it my lasagna? I hope it's not my lasagna.
It's definitely your lasagna.
Is Lady sick too, or is it just Lothak?
What have you been feeding her? We actually had that conversation. I just can't remember what you said you would feed her. I think you fed her Walstons for a while, but you can't have possibly had enough Walstons to continue feeding her those.
I mean, she should just eat. She should eat. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Dog food. Can't we get some
no,
dog
that's
food?
never been mentioned, so yes, in that case, Lady has also been gassy and kind of unhappy.
Lord.
Okay.
We need meat.
Lothak probably is not pregnant then. We can maybe rule that one out.
Yeah, so yeah,
Well, it's still though, like, would it be sufficiently alpha dog to invite them? Like, we have to do this on our ship, and we don't have to carry our low berth storage guys all the way out to the Enclave. We can just put them out here in their cargo hold, put them on display, make it look real intimidating.
However you do it, it needs to be really ostentatious, and try not to think just like a human. I don't mean any offense by that, Chapman, but I mean, not everything is just a trade deal. Sometimes it's
I'm gonna draw my sword, slam it down on the table, and say, "Lothak, shut up right now."
She squeaks out like that. And her ears
okay,
go
good.
back.
I think we got it. We're all set.
We're already doing the Star Trek alien thing where you just tell the alien to shut up all the time. It's happening.
Captain, how many of these?
Well, apparently seeing the lasagna didn't work.
I believe we got 6. I don't know if they're all. I don't think they're all dead, right? A couple of them were just unconscious, or.
I had assumed that you only got
the
unconscious ones. Did you want the dead ones too?
Yeah. We remember that was the deal we made with the security guy.
I'm sorry.
We'll get all these guys off your hands.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you got some dead ones and some alive ones. Yeah. Well, you don't know if they're alive. That's going to be up to the doc, actually.
That'll be up to Doc, yeah. He does get a +1 to his roll with Medic 3.
I think this is the move, Captain. Get those dead ones. In them. Make a cape out of Vargar fur. Wear that to the meeting with terrorists.
Lothak is now whimpering. This is terrible.
Is that too worse. Much? Is that too much, Lothak? I think we just isn't.
Sorry,
this,
Lothak.
displaying them should make the point, right? Because then it's like, this is what happened to the last crew, that tried to kill us, and this is what'll happen to the next one. Now let's just talk business and sell these guns.
That's thinking like a human.
Well, it's both. We are humans. They know we're humans. And plus, we bought the guns from Vargar also, and they're meant for this market. So.
No, we come out with the bodies and be like, "This is what happened to the last crew. Here are some weapons. You're gonna need these the next time you try and kill us. Good luck."
That's awesome.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Pretty good.
Chapman, you're muted.
Less effort for us.
Say that again.
We can do all of that on our own turf. Less effort for us. We don't have to go out there.
Oh, I agree.
All right, so
That part I agree with.
you books, you get a final docking clearance where you're able to enter. I imagine, maybe I'm prejudiced because I'm thinking like elite, but I imagine there's probably different setups. But in this case, because it's an asteroid, I imagine it's, I don't know what it's called, but basically where you have a pressurization depressurization chamber where you're gonna land on a pad and then it's gonna pressurize, and then you're gonna be brought up into a pressurized area, and that's how I imagine this probably works. So you're on this pad, and that brings you out into a hangar, and then you'll basically get back on the pad, and it brings you into a depressurization chamber, and you're here on your ship, and you do have a contact, so you have a frequency, and you can call them. Books, what do you tell them?
So, I'm sorry, the contact is... Who is the contact, you're saying?
It's going to be a point of contact at a Vargar shipping company called Kafirkanok.
Okay. And we're just going to tell them that we're... I'm sorry, these are the people we're going there to meet? Is that the contact you're talking about?
Yeah, but they're saying that, they want, they have them come here instead. And make a show of force, that this is what happened, and then bring out. Oh yeah, but actually, before we do that, I suppose we should see if you kill all these things in the low berth.
Well, we don't want to revive them necessarily, right?
Oh, so you're just gonna bring out the capsules?
Well, the dead ones we can have open.
Okay, so you're gonna crack open the capsules with the dead ones and bring them out.
I mean, actually, that brings up a good point. Maybe we can get a good deal, like, if we offer to throw in the ones that are still alive.
Lothak shakes her head, and she's like, oh, these humans, they don't... Oh.
Are you saying they wouldn't pay for these guys?
And then you hear you have a terrible smell in the cockpit, and she says, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Yeah. Are you saying...
Let's just show off the dead ones. Just try to keep it intimidating. Don't complicate it.
So there's 3 dead ones, right? Yeah, let's say there's 3 dead ones. Okay, so you bring out the dead bodies from low berth, present them, Godfather style, like gruesomely.
I've never owned a dog. Is this how you discipline them? I don't... This is normal.
Well, I mean, first of all, no, because the first thing the dog will do is try to rub its face smack in the middle of the dead, whatever it is that you show it.
Dead stuff? All right. Yeah, that's how dogs are.
Step one.
You can't shove all of the Kafirkanok snouts into a pile of poo to teach them a lesson.
I mean, presumably, though, they're not... Yeah, anyway, whatever. It's not... I don't know if they even know these guys, but...
All of this confusion happens in character, where you're trying to figure out what to do with this dead Vargar bodies in the hold.
Like, do we, like prop it up, or do we, leave it just sprawled out on the ground,
Oh, no.
Make it as bloody as possible.
But also super casual, so it doesn't look like we planned it.
We don't have to doctor them. We just take them out. They've been frozen anyway, right? They're all just icy hunks of one of them's beheaded.
This feels like a hate crime. I'm gonna be honest.
Do you think it would be too much to get a little sign that says hello or something and put it on
I like the meeting we had where we were like, we don't want to commit any war crimes. And then you come into port and you're like, but a hate crime? I don't know. You know, like, anyways. Okay, so no.
Well, we are operating under the direct advice of a Vargar right now, so I don't know
No,
what
it's
else
true.
we could.
Yeah, no, it's
Our
true.
Vargar friend says this is okay.
More than that, said that we would be killed if we didn't do it this way, or at least attempted. So it's just like I'm just trying to.
Yeah, she says the important thing is we really need to show that we're in charge here. If we don't do it, I guess get ready to fight. She has her gun ready as well.
The books say, tell them we're here to sell them their guns, but they're going to have to come to us if they want them. That's the only deal that they're getting offered.
Alright, let's see here. I don't like how it automatically pans. Okay, so books, what do you say on the comms then?
So I'm gonna tell them, yeah, you're gonna have to come here. That's it. If you want to talk, you gotta come here.
They recognize your voice, and then after a while, you don't hear anything back, and then you get a message essentially that says, "Oh, we will," and you get like a bunch of angry armed Vargar that just like.
Not to short circuit you there. Should it not be on deck 3?
Oh, sure. Sorry. Oh. And, I mean, I don't know, what do you just like... You just like have, Oh, no. Okay, let me redo that. You just... Okay, let's put the... Got some dead ones here. Will you just leave the bay open or something? Like, come on in? Everybody's got guns? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they'd be coming in from one side or the other. Let's pick a side. Like, let's say the right side.
Okay.
That's where the actual opening is. It's probably a ramp, I'm guessing, if it's cargo.
Yeah.
1 second.
They
I think
waste...
At least a few of us should have our weapons aimed on them.
Everyone else should have them drawn. Captain should have the sword out for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely guns drawn, and
They certainly waste no time drawing what weapons they have out when this happens, and just coming on board the ship. I'm gonna roll the reaction roll. Ah, interesting. Okay, they rush onto the up the ramp and they point weapons at you. You point weapons at them, and there is a standoff. You have a moment to speak. A moment to
first
act.
of all, stay down, and I'll shoot around over their heads. We're here to do business. This is what happened to the last group that tried to shoot us. They all died. The rest of them are in cold storage. Let's just get this done. We'll go our separate ways.
You fire a round out into the hangar bay, and they look back and they raise their weapons again, and one of them says in Anglic, "We'll make you a deal. Give us the 2 crew members that sold out our brothers, kept us from doing business in Startown Liberty, and we won't just take your weapons, we'll pay you extra."
How about this?
I look over at the captain, terrified.
How about this?
He might.
How about this? You guys are in with the union of equals, right? Let's not beat around the bush.
Equals.
Yeah, society, whatever.
One of them lowers the weapon of the one that was talking and is like, what? And then looks over to Dead Vargar and is like, where did you find these? Where did you find them?
In the casino back on Startown Liberty where they tried to kill us.
Why would they try to kill you?
I don't know. We seem to keep tripping over Vargar plans and messing them up. But hey, here's my counteroffer. We got 3 of these guys still alive in the low berths. We might be able to revive them and keep them alive. How about you take those instead and give us that extra money you were talking about? And then we go our separate ways. And you all leave us alone and we leave you alone.
Another one of them, it's not going well so far. Another one of them says they were probably working together. And then they do what they always do, and they shot him in the back, and now they're trying to betray us also.
Shot him in the back.
Right.
Yeah. Some Chapman, please. Rescue us all.
Effective against Lothak earlier. I take out my own cutlass, I stick it into the ground very dramatically, loudly, and I shout at all of these Vargar, and I say, enough is enough. You're here to buy some guns from us, and that'll be the end of it.
They see a blade sticking out, and a particularly big one comes out with his own blade, and he's like, I think enough is enough. And then he turns back toward the other Vargar, and he's like, let me take care of this. And he draws his blade out and points it at Chapman.
Oh, hell no. I say. I'm gonna leap over and swipe that guy's head off if I can.
Oh.
Ooh.
Alright, roll a d6 for surprise. See if you can... Oh, you surprised him. Oh my gosh, you did. Whoa.
Shall I roll the attack then, or?
Roll damage.
Cutlass is 3d6. Dang, I need that scrolling around all the time.
It's 3d6, yeah, because the broadsword's 4d6. Okay, yeah. Describe how you killed the big guy.
It's almost a signature move at this point, but it's a quick. In sword fighting, they call it the cock step, and you can cover an amazingly large amount of ground with basically one step. It's like a step and a leap, and I cover about, let's say 15 feet or something like that, just super quick, and just with a swipe, his head is off.
Now there's another Vargar body on the ground. Its head tumbles away. And the
I'll
other...
turn the blade to face everybody else.
Shipley wants to say that she suggests they buy the guns before they continue, so it's an even match.
Nice.
Do you think we could get any more money for the one captain just beheaded?
I'll look at them and raise an eyebrow.
The one that was talking before raises his paws, asked, and just points toward the Society of Equals, the Vargar, the dead Vargar, and says, "Tell us how you're connected to them. Are you working with them?"
No, it's the same story as always. I'm an asshole. Vargar don't like me. Everywhere they find me, they come for me just like this, and it always ends the same way. So you better take a hint and back off already. Now, are we going to make this deal or not?
3 of them laugh, and then they bring a case of credits out, and and now, who made the deal initially? Because now is when you let's see. Actually, no, we don't have to. It could be somebody else. Let's Shipley. Let's make. Let's see. So you roll 2d6, and you want to roll high. Hopefully, you get more than a 10. I think these were bought at like 130 or 150%.
It was 130.
Oof.
Yeah.
Tag on it.
Okay, so let's see here. The amount of credits that they have, and you realize that the problem here is that they actually just don't have a lot of money. Let's see, 30, 2, 3. So I think it's 72,000 that you get. I could have that wrong. Percent firearms, because I think it's 310s. Okay. Anyways, those are the credits that they have, and they just put it down, and then they say they wouldn't have tried to have killed you unless you're Imperial.
We just want people to leave us alone.
Well, you can have that. And they take he motions for all of them to start packing the old weapons out of the bay. And then he says, don't show your face around the conclave. Whoops. Wrong thing. Why is it not letting me do it? I don't know. I'm just going to delete them. Oh, because I'm not on the... There we go. Alright. And now you have another dead Varger.
You can have these guys too.
They leave them. They don't want them.
I'm not cleaning that up.
Lothak sighs. She starts cleaning it up.
No, Lothar, please. You've done enough.
Lothak, why don't you go find yourself some real food?
She's like, I don't have any money.
What? We're not.
Of note, no one has been paid yet.
That's true.
In a month and a half.
When we go aboard the asteroid and everything, I will go out and I will buy Lothak an honest meal.
Okay.
I heard
Okay.
ribeye steak.
72,000, you said?
I think so. To be honest, I can't remember. I will look at it and I'll post it in the results, of course.
All right, and then I guess we'll need to get paid whatever
For the cargo as well. Yeah.
and low passage, because we did have some low passengers. I think.
Yeah, I do have to look that up because the doc is going to need to see if they can make it out. And then do you guys want to make bets? It is not compulsory.
What?
So in this game, were you here for the last one, Thomas?
I was here for the casino game.
No.
So there's a rule in this
I think he
game.
also missed it.
There's essentially 3 levels of passenger passage in Starships and Traveler. There's high passage, which is like first class, luxury, cruise liner. And then there's middle passage, which is like, a steel bunk, and like you're on this ship, basically. And then you have something called low passage, which is like in, I don't know, Alien and some of those old movies where they stick you in a tube and they freeze you. But there's like a % chance every time you're stuck in one of those tubes that it can kill you. And you, being the doctor, are the expert in trying to get them out of the tubes alive. And in the game rules, I agree with Chris on this. I think it's like considered bad luck not to bet on odds of survival. That's in the book, though. It's called the low passage lottery. Is that what it's called? But yeah, anyways, it's an aspect of the implied setting. So, anyways.
I
I'll
say
bet.
yes.
I'll bet 100 on that they all survive.
All survive.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring up the rules for it.
Oh man, can you imagine a dirty doctor?
Or what?
I'm saying like a doctor whose job it is to bring these people out, and
And he
he's
rigs it. Oh my
yeah.
gosh! And like he does a scam and goes on ships and does that.
Yeah.
That's grim. That's grim.
I'm sorry. I'm
Really
thinking of all the
Unless
worst
you're-
stuff tonight.
That sounds like a news item, though. That could be like a quest. Like that could be like a
Yeah,
you
track
know.
this guy down. Track
Yeah.
down this psychopath. Yeah.
Very weird serial killing method. I feel like that can't be that profitable. Like, how high can you get people to bet on the outcome of these lotteries?
I mean, you would pick large capacity, not luxury. You'd pick like people doing like long haul. There's probably some sort of like specialized low passage ship that's just packed to
Sounds
the
like you
gills.
put an
with, like,
awful lot of
1,000
thought into this, Captain.
Seeing it.
I wonder if it's just a practice on ships that, like, on any ship that's in any way commercial or owned by a corporation, that doctors are just not allowed to participate in the in the low passage lotto.
So the bad news I have is I am not seeing it, but I have my notes right here. Now I know that there was cargo and there were. Let me. Oh wait, no, I have it here. Okay. Yeah, there was one major cargo, 4 minor, 22 tons, and 4 low passengers. So I'm going to make my 4 passenger lottery. 1, 4.
And we get paid for the passengers whether they live or not, I think.
Right, and this comes out of the payout. So I think it's what, 500 for low, or
It's 1,000. Yeah,
1,000
it's
for
1,000.
low. Okay, so you
Yeah.
get 4,000. So this will come out of that, and then all right. Starting with Chapman, do you want to place any bets?
Yeah.
All right, Marcello.
Yeah, I'll bet $100 that at least one of them doesn't make it.
Okay, so
Don't encourage him.
4 out of 5 for Marcello. Okay, what about Books?
Is there a limit to how much I could bet?
No, the way it works is there's 10 credits each, so 40 credits total, and then, I mean, you all can do it however you want, of course, but it's the custom is that the captain himself takes the pay and then takes 10 credits out per low passenger, so it's 40 credits, so you'll just get 40 credits if you win.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess I'll do 40 credits then.
No, so how many passengers do you think will survive?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was supposed to pick an amount to bet. I'll say 2.
Okay, 2 of 5. All right, and then Bellamy.
Well, I thought it was 4. Is it 5?
I'm sorry, that's right. 2 of 4. Sorry, and 3
All
of
right,
4.
I'm also gonna bet that all 4 make it.
All 4 make it. Okay, and then Doc, how many do you think will make it? The very person who's going to be trying to get them out by their skills.
I'll say all 4 of them make it.
Nice.
Got to have confidence in what you do, right?
And then Shipley.
I'll say 2 out of them 4 make it.
2 out of 4. Okay. And then let's see here. I'm looking. There it is. Oh, and there's also a 4th category called working passage. Just saw that now. Didn't know about it. Anyways, low passage. So let's see. You have to make a throw of 5+ per passenger, and let me see. Expertise of 2 or better, you get a +1. So So you have to roll a 4 or better, Doc, for each passenger.
2d6 plus 1.
2d6. Yeah, so 2d6 plus 1 to get a 5 or higher. Yeah. All right, so the first passenger lives.
Yes.
Second passenger lives. This is like the gauntlet for this new ship's doctor you brought on board. Like, everybody's just watching you, you know.
No pressure.
Oh, there we go. We lost one.
Yeah, lost one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. The next one has to live.
Brooks is like, yes, yes, yes.
All right, last one, and they make it. So let's see.
Oh man.
3 of 4. It looks like Marcello is the victor, and you get 40 credits out of the pot. So you actually get 3,960 credits, and Marcello actually gets 40 of that.
Good job, Doctor. A lot of faith.
Can't win them all. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. Let's see here.
All right, so 72,000 plus. How much was it for the? I'm sorry, you're gonna do this after, I guess. But I'm just desperate to know whether we're gonna make our payment with what we got without.
Yeah.
having to-
Yeah, are we gonna make it?
To be honest, I don't know. I think you've got. I don't know.
I think we're gonna just squeak by, if it is 72,000. Because I think the cargo lots should bump us up because our payment's 180, something like that.
All right, so here you are on a star base, a star town. So, gruesome day. You did a little bit of a sword fight with a Vargur. Left the body in the hole.
Not much of a fight.
Not much of a fight. Took out the big guy real quick. Made a deal, and then made your bets over the low passenger lottery. Talked with a terrorist, and here you are on Asteltine. You could just fuel up and leave. You can look at the cargo board. You can go around and ask for rumors. You can go take some time and mix things up and get in trouble. And mixing things up and getting in trouble is a way also of doing speculative trade and trying to find a deal.
That board is always step one.
All right, I'll tell you what's on
the way over there.
oh,
I
go ahead.
joke with the captain. Yeah, on the way over there, I joke with the captain. No, you really should have mounted that big guy's head and put him in the cargo hold, up on the wall. The cargo hold.
Instead, it's
I'm a doctor, not a what's it called?
taxidermist.
Taxidermist. Yeah.
Taxidermist. That should be the title of the episode right there.
You know, it's not a bad plan, but I'm thinking we might not be the best agents for poor old Anders. I think we kind of shot our wad on that one. I don't know. They're gonna know our faces everywhere. They said don't show up in the conclave again.
Yeah, that didn't go too well. Okay, so the board. Let's start with that. No cargo, no packs.
Great. That's simple.
Damn. No cargoes.
Okay, what about passengers?
No cargo, no packs.
Oh,
Passengers?
that's what he means. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you go back to Flammarion. So that's a possibility, and I can roll that up.
You're saying there's cargo going to Flammarion,
I
but
can-
not to.
I don't have it, but I can check. But you know, you'd be going from an A to an A with higher population on both. So I don't know if it'd be a lot, but you know, it's up to you.
No, well, oh, that's the wrong direction.
All right. All right, so no cargo, no packs. Is there anything what do you all want to do on Asteltine? Do you want to just fuel up and head out? Or do you want to go around and see if you can find some stuff? Now that's separate. So Thomas, there are two ways to find goods to trade. There's kind of like a board when you come in that has like space Amazon, like, hey, we just need these boxes moved. We don't care. And you get a flat rate, and they just pay you to move cargo and passengers. And then you can go out into the world and you can try to make deals and find rumors and talk to people and try to, you know, but as everybody's seen, as that happens, travelers end up getting into trouble, and then the grind, what is it that Amos calls it? The churn.
The churn.
Yeah, the churn happens then, you know, so. You guys want to just head out from the planet and head on, or do you want to?
No, I think we need.
We gotta
look
look.
for rumors.
Yeah, we gotta look for. Well, I mean, I don't know if we want to acquire any more jobs per se. We got a lot, but that's just my thought. But we should certainly try to find somebody selling something.
All right, so let's see. Next session, you'll be trying to find some cargo in Asteltine so that you can make a buck, hopefully. Looking at traveler map, actually, let me bring up the sector just in case anyone wants to look at it from there.
I mean, the thing about speculative cargo, as long as it's not something that's going to spoil again, is, if we can't find a buyer at 567908, which seems more likely than not, given the population of 0.
You also have crew members that are barred from entering that place. On
567908?
Yeah.
Oh.
They have a bit of a reputation around these parts. It's
yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean,
well, yeah.
Well, yeah. What else could I say? I mean, everything you're saying. The reason I say well, yeah, is because it's all the reasons. These are all the reasons why trailing is the only direction that should ever be in our thoughts. It just the concept of having to traverse these stars again.
Oh yeah, I kept saying forward. I meant trailing. Yes, the trailing. Yes, galactic east, if you will. But anyways, all right. So we're gonna try to find some cargo, Detective 56908, or skip and hold on to it and keep taking it on to Bowman. Make it to the base in Bowman to find that weapon. Now, a thing to think about for next time. It will take weeks to get that retrofitted onto the ship. It's not an overnight matter to have a pulse laser put onto a ship. I don't know the exact time, but it takes time. So that's something of note. But that will end the adventure for the night. Mythic Traveler is a space western merchant classic traveler campaign in the Mythic Mountains RPG Play Club. The music's by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech and Greg Gibson with Timberzeal. Classic Traveler is one of the first tabletop role-playing games, and the first sprawling space simulator game ever created, by Mark Miller and Games Designer Workshop. You can find the free facsimile rules of Classic Traveler by Far Future Enterprises in the description. Mythic Mountains RPG is an online play club that focuses on folk RPGs. Those are the RPGs that aren't run or controlled by some huge corporation, and they don't have some set way to play and ain't nobody can tell you how you can play them. We play them however is the right way, and that's the way we want to do it. The table is the authority. We upload our games weekly on YouTube for everyone to enjoy and sit in without performances, fancy equipment, or monetization. It's just a group of people playing folk RPGs our way. you're welcome to join us. But until then, be safe out there between jumps.